What's good, YouTube? This video is going to be about a misconception that women have about men that hurts them in the long run. So recently I did a video about 3 traits that men potentially fall in love with, right? And then I got some comments back. One of the traits that I talked about was a woman being supportive. Now, again, the context was not financial support. It was emotional support, energetic support, right? Being there for someone like you would a friend or a lover or a person you love in your family, right? General support, right? But a genuine support. A lot of women wrote back disagreeing with the idea of supporting a man emotionally. Again, we were talking about non-financially, right? So emotionally, energetically. One of the comments in particular made me want to do this video. The comment said, "Not sure about that. My experience is that men fall hardest for women who act like bitches. Supportive, responsible, nice women always finish last or get exploited. Welcome to 2023. Right? Valid enough idea because it is a truth and it does happen. But what we fail to realize is for the majority of women who get that treatment, they're generally fighting over, again, these guys who have options. Guys who have options, guys who have women fighting for them, guys who have women chasing them. They're the only guys who actually like when women act like this. They're the only guys who actually see a difference because most women are chasing them. Most women are appeasing them in every way. So to stand out, you do the equal and opposite. You give him a different experience, a rare and unique experience. And in general, that might be to play hard to get or act like a bitch. The thing is this, though. There are men, a rare breed of men, who are juggling women and juggling love opportunity. And then there's 70% of men, 75% of men, who not only don't get the opportunity, but men who pretty much see the bitch side of women on a very regular basis because they're not preferred, right? These are men who don't look a certain way, aren't a certain height, don't make a certain amount of money. When women see them immediately, if they get caught staring at a woman, if they get caught admiring a woman, they immediately feel her disdain. They immediately feel her discomfort. They immediately see her shy away from them or separate herself or create a space between them. Right? They immediately see that a woman's sense of safety is threatened when she isn't attracted to a man and he seems to be attracted to her. Right? They always get the bitch side of women. So when you meet a man, unless you're fighting over that, again, those top high value or player types that women just flock to because of they have natural gifts that women like, unless you're talking about one of those guys, you don't need to act like a bitch to get a man to like you. Because every woman is already giving him that side, especially if he's a man with less options than others. Some men are handsome, but they just don't have any game. They get the bitch. Some men don't have a lot of money. They get the bitch. Some men aren't tall enough, don't look broad enough. Some men just don't have that masculine presence that women like. Guess what they get? The bitch side of a lot of women they encounter. I'm not saying they're generally mistreated by women, but to say that to act like a bitch can be applied across all men would be foolishness. Again, we need to bait the hook for the fish. If you're trying to have a better dating experience, you need to know who your audience is. Now, yes, if you're fighting over that top 10, that top 20% of guys who have some options, then yes, playing hard to get will get you a little bit farther because you're giving them a unique experience. They're not used to that. Women in general are chasing them, are giving them unbridled access, despite whatever they might do or how they might treat a woman. So yes, acting like that separates you from other women. But most men don't have that type of access to women or love or sex for that matter. So there's no need to act like that with them. In those relationships, if you have yourself a normal guy, if you date normal guys, then you don't want to act like that. You don't want to play hard to get with a man who already doesn't get women, or who has been disappointed, or who has been hurt, or who has trust issues, or who is guarded, or who doesn't believe whatever people tell him, but believes actions and watches actions. If he looks at you, he sees you, and he's measuring your actions, and you're playing hard to get, he won't trust you. He won't grow with you. He'll separate himself. He's been disappointed enough. So this idea that acting like a bitch or playing hard to get for these guys is just foolishness. Again, you have to bait the hook for the fish. Know your audience. If you like to date men who have a lot of women, have a lot of options, and who juggle a bunch of opportunity, then yeah, play hard to get. But just understand that that is not the majority of men. That's just the majority of men that some women encounter because that's all they chase is that top guy. About 4 years ago, I did a video about when to play hard to get. And in that video, I outlined when it was appropriate, who is appropriate to play hard to get with. You play hard to get with the man who's hard to get, who is avoiding connection. You play hard to get with the man who doesn't respect women. And in fact, with some men like that, you actually need to be hard to get. Some men shouldn't be able to get you despite whatever persistence they offer. But there are men who've been hurt, who've been disappointed, who like long-term relationships, who are looking for love, looking for commitment, looking for loyalty and wife quality in a woman. There's no reason to be hard to get or play like a bitch with them, because it'll just show them that you're untrustworthy and that you can't be counted on as a woman. Just like you're supposed to be judging the conduct and the character of a man is, if he's wise enough, doing the same thing when he encounters a woman despite the size of her butt or her breasts. I've encountered a bitch type of woman, a woman who would pride herself on not only her looks but her access to men. A woman who played leverage and power games based on what has worked for other top women, other women with options with men, or other men in the past who had options, who saw her as a standout and therefore treated her differently. But for the most part, a lot of men aren't that. And even though when I was dating, I did have some options, I'm not a man who likes cheap interactions, and I'm not a man who likes frivolous relationships. I keep a very small circle. I don't trust a whole lot of people. I'm a little bit antisocial, believe it or not. So as a man who was moving with integrity and not exercising all of his options, when a woman seen me and thought, okay, this is a top guy, I'm going to act like a bitch to him. I'm going to get him to like me because I'm going to be different than the other women. I'm a man of respect, and I give my respect. I lead with my respect. So I want the same in return. Because of my mindset and the way I deal with women and the way I respect them, I want to be respected as well. In respect of myself, I don't deal with the bitch type. I dealt with one in particular. She would always try to play power games with me. She would always try to introduce a dynamic where she was the bitch and I was the man chasing after her. She thought she had to do that because of the options that I had. But I was a man looking for real companionship. I was a man looking for real love. She disqualified herself with all that bitch garbage. What I like is a genuine person. So again, bait the hook for the fish. Figure out what type of man you're dealing with before you start trying to apply tactics that seem to work for other people. And only about 15% of men are really going to handle that bitch type. The nice and genuine girl doesn't generally finish last with a genuine guy. And even if you're nice and even if you're genuine, everybody should have healthy boundaries. So we always put this word nice out there and it's become almost derogatory because the assumption is there's no boundaries, there's no mental health and emotional health with this person. They're just ass kissers and brown nosers. That is not the case. A woman who respects herself and leads with her respect with me is going to get way farther than some girl who's trying to act like a bitch just because she wants to feel powerful and trick me into liking her. Know your audience. Bait the hook for the fish if you're going to apply any tactic at all. And remember that every man's experience with women is an abundance. Just like women get played, women get disappointed, women get cheated on. The same things happen to men. So if you're playing too hard to get or you're acting like a bitch, I'm going to assume disappointment is coming. I'm going to assume I can't trust you. I'm going to assume your ego is too big to give me what I need in a relationship or accept what I want to give you. So immediately there's a loyalty question. And to be honest, it's actually a skill set to be able to act like a bitch without having an attitude problem, without showing yourself to be difficult or combative, while making yourself look like a healthy partner. It's very difficult to look like a bitch and a healthy partner at the same time. I'm sure it can be done, but those who perform it well are the exception and not the rule. And the men who respond to that are generally a little bit less healthy emotionally. Think about the women who only respond to guys who treat them like crap. Many of those men are basically the female version of that. We can all agree when a woman does that, it's not healthy. It's not in her best interest. She probably needs to do some healing. Men who need women to act like that need to do some healing. So in acting like that, you're strategically trying to attract unhealed men who will ultimately traumatize you with their bullshit. So that's what I think about that. Yes, some men like women who act like bitchs, but they're generally not healthy or offering healthy companionship or love or partnership. So I hope this helps. Follow me at KidFig24.